Number 64 in the Radiance range is The Landlord, directed by Hal Ashby, released in 1970. This film was highly infectious. The more I watched it, the more I enjoyed it. The more I enjoyed the main performance of Beau Bridges, who plays Elgar Enders, a 29-year-old trust fund, rich, affluent man who decides to almost flee from his comfortable lifestyle, take up a business of running an apartment block in a run-down ghetto-like area of the city with all black tenants, and kind of move into that world. And you kind of see it through his eyes. This is a character who is naive in worldly ways. He comes from a completely different world, and he tries to move into this world, and at first is terrified, is scared as he starts to meet his tenants. He tries to relate, but there is a clear and obvious barrier between this person and the people he now is living amongst and trying to run his business.
That's my husband.
Oh, now, about the rent, Mrs. Copey, are you...
Ashby, as the director, just sets up that situation and allows it to play out, and it's wonderfully fun and engaging and edge of the seat sometimes as you're watching Edgar kind of unknowingly get close to a situation which could really hurt him. He is at heart just so naive about the world and about the situation, best intentions, idealistic, knows what he kind of wants to do but doesn't understand everything else round about it.
You think I'm white, don't you?
Oh, that...
And it's almost like a sort of coming of age as he realises what the real world is actually like. He still has one foot in that rich family lifestyle, and this that he's moved into is like a game. It's a little part of his life, something that he will experience and probably move on from, never to return to. But the families that he is interacting with, the people who are on the breadline, who are struggling to survive, pay rent, and just survive, this is their life. They have no fallback. They need to survive, and what they have here, they need to be worldly wise.
Oh, I'm Elgar Enders, the new landlord.
You know the new landlord. Yes. You're the new landlord, man. Landlord, man.
And I love the various characters that we discover throughout this time as we see Elgar slowly not really become part of the community there, but become a fixture of sorts. He's somewhat tolerated by people, but there are some people here who can see that he's just a rich kid playing games. He's not invested. He's not one of them. He is very much very different, and as much as he tries to fit in, he never will, because it's a completely different world in which he comes from. But there is an almost effortlessness nature to this. I liked Elgar. His intentions were somewhat honourable, completely skewed and unrealistic, but for him, this felt like something that he could really achieve, move away from his family and the dynamics that are going on there. And there's a kind of fun nature in Beau Bridges' performance, which I thought was terrific. And he comes across as really someone that's quite lovable of sorts, but, you know, a kind of lovable loser almost, that kind of attitude. And I really appreciated that. There's some wonderful actors in here as well. So early performance from Louis Gossett Jr., who is pretty terrific in the film, as is most of the supporting actors in here. It's a tale where its political leanings and social satire mostly hit the mark. There are some moments where they're a little bit wide, but I can be forgiving on that because I just enjoyed this situation. This is an easy watch. One of those movies you can put on and just get drawn into the story. It's funny, it can be hard-hitting, it can be eye-opening at times, but at its heart, it is a fun, entertaining film. Let's dive into the disc and have a look at the extras on show here. Here we are in the disc for Hal Ashby's The Landlord. Let's go to special features. First up, we have Nick Dawson, biographer of Hal Ashby. Nick introduces The Landlord, exploring how Ashby made the transition from editor to director for this, his debut feature, recorded for Radiance in March 2024. This runs at 22 minutes 28 seconds. I really like this because it gives us a kind of insight into Ashby, how he started in editing, how he even got that job, his relationship with Norman Jewison, and how it kind of progressed into Jewison championing him for this movie. Next up, we have Ellen E. Jones. Critic and author Ellen E. Jones explores the complex racial politics of The Landlord and examines the key role of Bill Gunn, recorded for Radiance in March 2024. It's 17 minutes 31 seconds. And this looks at facets of the cast and crew and how this was a kind of standout movie at the time. It kind of focuses a little bit of Sidney Poitier, how he kind of overshadowed the rest of the black community at that time in cinema. Next, we have Beau Bridges. Beau Bridges is interviewed about his experiences working on The Landlord and starring as the role of Elgar Enders, recorded in 2019 for Kino Lorber. It is 25 minutes and 1 second long and it's great. It kind of lets you into how he knew Ashby, how he had the relationship with him, what it was like working on the set, and there is lots of great anecdotal stories here, great information, particularly about the opening sequence in the film, which I had never actually thought of before. Next, we have Lee Grant. Actor Lee Grant reflects on her memorable role as Joyce Enders, Elgar's mother, recorded in 2019 for Kino. This is 25 minutes, 23 seconds, and I thought this was terrific because the actress gives you a little insight into her career, how it was at the time, how she landed some pivotal roles, how it brought her to this role, and her experience on set as well. Next, we have Norman Jewison, probably my favourite on the disc. The late director and producer, Jewison, discusses his role in the production of The Landlord and his long relationship with Hal Ashby. This is 28 minutes 58 seconds and was my favourite of the interviews, as you have Jewison himself talking about his relationship with Ashby, how they were just friends, bringing him in, how they first met, the kind of career path, how he championed him for The Landlord. Also included in this disc is a 36-page booklet which has a wonderful piece by Hal Ashby himself, breaking out of the cutting room from 1970, which I thought was just a fantastic read. And that's the extras for The Landlord. There we have it, Landlord, out now. Thoroughly recommended. This was a great, enjoyable film. I laughed out loud. I empathised with some of the characters. I loved seeing the city at this time of era. It was just wonderful and something I would wholeheartedly recommend. I wasn't sure what I was going to get with this. Whole lot of fun. Yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on The Landlord if you'd seen it, so let me know in the comment box below whether you love it, hate it, fall somewhere in the middle. As always, there's more content up here. You can see more of my stuff in the description box below, or links to Patreon, membership program, manvyfilm.com. Always in which you can support me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.